What's going on, Alabama football fans? Chris Daughtry here with the Alabama Football Report. We have a loaded show for you guys today, so I will try my best not to ramble. First up, we're going to talk about some SEC Players of the Week. Alabama had 3 players selected to those awards. Also, we're going to give some injury updates for you guys. Some good injury news, some bad injury news on that front. And then also, at the end of today's show, we're going to talk some recruiting rumors out there. Some players, we've got a decommitment that we need to talk about. And then there's also some flip rumors out there to Alabama and from Alabama. So that is all loaded up on today's show. Make sure you guys share today's video for me to all those Alabama fans out there, all your friends that are Alabama fans. They might not necessarily follow, the day-to-day and everything like that. So help them out, help yourself out, help me out, and share today's video for me right now. All right, the first player that I want to get into, Tyler Booker was awarded the SEC Co-Offensive Lineman of the Week. And, I think this just says it perfectly, right? He's probably your best offensive lineman on this team right now. And he had an incredible game. The entire offensive line had an incredible game against LSU this past weekend. Tyler Booker did not allow a pressure against LSU this past weekend. And, you saw, Alabama didn't really have to throw the ball a lot in this game, but they were really able to get the ground game going. And I think that was one of the things that really did impress me the most about this game. Obviously, Jalen Milroe went off, but those running backs did also have a pretty solid game. You also had guys like Kendrick Law also get involved in the run game as well. So congratulations to Tyler Booker. I think that was very, a good award for him this week. Next up, Jaeden Campbell was awarded the Co-Defensive Player of the Week, and really, man, he's honestly been probably, I think, your best defensive player so far this year. Maybe outside Damani Jackson, but man, Jaeden Campbell has just been so consistent for you all season long. Against LSU, he had 12 tackles. He had 2 sacks, including that sack, strict fumble on Garrett Nussmeier that really turned the page for Alabama at the end of that first half. LSU had an opportunity to really go down there, drive down the field before the half. Score points there possibly, and then they got the ball after halftime as well. So that could have been a 2-for-1 or a 2-for for LSU, but Jaeden Campbell was able to, force that fumble. Alabama eventually recovers that. Tim Smith recovered that, and Alabama was able to score a touchdown off of that. He also had 4 pressures for you, so definitely nothing to scoff at. Jaeden Campbell had a hell of a game against LSU. And then finally, the last SEC award here, Jalen Milroe was awarded the Co-Offensive Player of the Week for his performance against the LSU Tigers. And man, now this is back-to-back years where Jalen Milroe has just absolutely gone off on LSU, absolutely made them his son, if you will. Basically, he has absolutely owned the Tigers. 155 yards last year on the ground with 4 touchdowns. This year, also had 4 touchdowns on the ground, 185 yards rushing. Like I said, he didn't throw the ball that much, only 109 yards passing on 18 total attempts. But, man, when you're running the ball as well as you are, there's no real reason to have to pass it. And, there were some misses in that game, too. You had Kendrick Law drop a first down that hit him right in the hands, and then you also had Ryan Williams that would have been at least a 20, 30-yard bomb down the middle of the field that he also dropped. Now, it was raining and everything like that. But look, Jalen Milroe put it right in the bread basket for him. Probably would have gone down to like the 3 or 4 yard line, something around there. So I think Jalen Milroe just went absolutely off in this game. And personally, he was my player of the game against LSU. So I want to hear from you guys in the comments section, at the pinned comment, actually, of today's video. Who was your player of the game for Alabama against LSU? Let me know at the pinned comment of today's video. That ad's going to come here on YouTube. That's totally fine. You can ignore it. Go down there to the pinned comment and let me know who your player of the game was versus the LSU Tigers. All right, we've got some pretty bad injury news to talk about right here. Quandarrius Robinson will miss the remainder of the season. He injured that left forearm during that game this past weekend, and they said on the broadcast it was pretty severe. Obviously, he's going to be out for the season, so it must have been pretty severe. And it's a very, very unfortunate thing for Alabama's defense because Quandarrius Robinson had been playing out of his mind this season. And honestly, he wasn't somebody at the beginning of the season that I thought was going to really step up for you. Ella in the comments section, for me on that one. But he's been incredible. Sure, the tackle numbers aren't, out of this world or anything like that. But, he's got 4 sacks on the season, 7 tackles for loss. I'm pretty sure that leads Alabama in tackles for loss. And he also had 19 pressures so far this season. And even when he wasn't, getting to the quarterback, putting him on the ground, sacking him or whatever, he was still causing a lot of, havoc in the backfield against opposing offenses. So it's going to be a real shame that Quandarrius Robinson is going to be out for Alabama. So who do you got to replace him now? Well, unfortunately, Keanu Koht has been suspended. We heard Kalen DeBoer this morning during his press conference talk about that. We don't know how long he's going to be suspended. We don't know, what he was suspended for, but he did not travel with the team this past weekend going down to Baton Rouge. So don't really know what's up with Keanu Koht, but, his playing time has definitely slipped considering that at the beginning of the year, he was probably one of your top 2 guys at that Wolf position. So, look, Russaw, he's going to be the guy for you. He's got to step up. Maybe also have a guy like Yhonzae Pierre over there that can step up at that Wolf position. You might even, Kane Womack really likes to shuffle these guys around, whether that's in the linebacker room, whether that's in the DB room. So maybe you even have a shot where Jaeden Campbell might get some snaps at Wolf. We've seen that as well so far this year. And then you got Justin Jefferson can fill in at that middle linebacker spot. So it's a real shame that Quandarrius Robinson is going to be out the rest of the season for Alabama, but it's that next man up mentality. So we will see how Alabama utilizes that Wolf position moving forward. DeVonta Smith also got injured in that game. Not exactly sure what happened exactly to DeVonta Smith. Kind of got ran over while he was making a tackle and just kind of got banged up, and he came out of the game and wasn't able to return. And really it made me very, very nervous because DeVonta Smith has been one of your better defensive backs, I think, so far this year. But Kalen DeBoer this morning saying it's, hopefully something that they can work through, and he kind of mentioned that it was going to be a day-to-day thing. So we'll definitely monitor DeVonta Smith's injury status there. And then we also have Jaeden Roberts. They didn't mention him, or nobody asked a question about Jaeden Roberts during the press conference today, but he did leave in the second quarter of that game with what appeared to be a leg injury. I think I read somewhere else that it was a knee injury, so we'll also monitor the Jaeden Roberts injury news there. He's been banged up all season, but his mom did put on Twitter the other day that he was going to be just fine. So we'll see if that's more of a, mentally he's in good spirits or if it's anything, worse than that. But I will say, too, I did think Geno Vandermark played well while Jaeden Roberts was out of that game. So let me know in the comment section right here, guys. Are you worried about the injuries? I think those are some pretty notable names from some starters for Alabama, and then you got the suspension of Keanu Koht as well. So let me know in the comment section of today's show. Type Y for yes or N for no. Are you worried about these injuries for the Crimson Tide? Today's show is presented by Ollie. Ollie is clean, fresh nutrition for your dog in 5 flavors that they will absolutely love. Right now, Ollie is offering a fantastic deal to let your pup taste test a personalized meal plan. Get 60% off your first box of meals when you use promo code CHATSPORTS at ollie.com. You don't have to be a vet to know that feeding your dog real, whole foods with minimal processing is one of the best choices that you can make for their health. Ollie is a perfectly portioned whole fresh foods diet that has been proven to extend your pup's life by up to 2.5 years, because who doesn't want more time with their best friend? They have no harmful fillers and no preservatives. Ollie is made in United States kitchens with ingredients carefully sourced from trusted growers and producers around the world. This is how it works. You fill out Ollie's 30-second quiz and they'll create a customized meal plan for you. Ollie then crunches the numbers and recommends the right recipes and daily portions for your pup. For any first-timers, Ollie will send out your pup's first box with 2 weeks worth of meals and a guide to how to gradually switch them over to their new diet. You can even customize your plan. Ollie offers 3 meal plans to choose from, so you can choose between a full fresh plan, a fresh topper plan, or a mixed plan with their freshly baked recipes. This right here is my dog, Luca. First thing that happens when I get home, he doesn't even want to go outside to go to the bathroom. First thing he does, he runs to the kitchen, he starts jumping out the refrigerator, because that's where I keep his Ollie dog food, and he just cannot get enough of it. So head over to ollie.com and tell them about your dog and use promo code CHATSPORTS, and you'll get 60% off your first box of meals when you subscribe today. That's Ollie, OLLIE.com, and enter CHATSPORTS, 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 to get 60% off your first box. They offer a clean bowl guarantee on their first box, so if you're not completely satisfied, you will get your money back. That link will be in the comments section and the description of today's show. Going over to some recruiting news here for the Crimson Tide. 4-star cornerback in Alabama's 2026 class, Dorian Barney, has now decommitted from Alabama. And from reading about this, it doesn't really sound like, this was that much of a surprise. He committed super early compared to, kind of Alabama's outlook. Really, right now, they're worried about the 2025 or 2024 season and the 2025 recruiting class. So it's not that big of a deal right now for them. And you got to think about Alabama's just secondary in general right now, too. They're very young. They got a lot of guys back there who have a lot of eligibility left. So, in that 2026 class, they can really afford to be choosy. And like I said, right now, they're just not really focused on that 2026 class quite yet. So you never know what could happen. He might jump back in the class at some point. But for right now, Dorian Barney has decommitted from Alabama's 2026 recruiting class. Make sure you guys are subscribed right here to the Alabama Football Report. We will be live yet again for Alabama versus Mercer. It's on ESPN Plus / SEC Network Plus, so there might be a chance that, you aren't able to get the game, for this game. So you guys can come here, hang out with us, and have a good time during this Alabama football watch party against Mercer. Hit that sub button right now. It's youtube.com/@RollTideTV. We've also got another possible flip away from Alabama's 2025 class. Steve Wiltfong and Chad Simmons of On3 have both predicted 5-star wide receiver Caleb Cunningham to flip to Ole Miss. Now, if you remember back during the summertime, during the recruiting process for Caleb Cunningham, there was a lot of, every single time he went and took a visit to another school, they were their number one. And then he took his visit to Alabama, and then they were his number one. And then he ended up committing to Alabama. So a lot of back and forth. He did visit Ole Miss this past weekend where, they did upset Georgia at home. So he was out there during, rushing the field and everything like that. And according to On3, it does sound like NIL is kind of a factor here. Whether or not that means, he doesn't think that Alabama has offered them enough or anything like that, not real sure. But he does plan on waiting until that late signing period. So, the early signing period is up here about less than a month away now. So, that's not the end of, recruiting and everything like that. Sure, a lot of guys are going to sign during that early signing period, but he's going to wait. Alabama does still have Latsier Brooks in this class. And look, they feel pretty confident about their wide receiver unit right now. So, there's a reason they only really wanted to take 2 wide receivers in this class. Obviously, you want the number 2 wide receiver in this class, number 16 player overall. But if you do lose out on Caleb Cunningham, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. You also have the transfer portal out there as well. And you also have some JUCO options that Alabama's looking at just in case. So, we'll see what happens with Caleb Cunningham. But for right now, both Steve Wiltfong and Chad Simmons have predicted him to flip to Ole Miss. And they've got a pretty good track record. When those guys put in those predictions, a lot of the times, those predictions do come to fruition. So we'll see what happens there. But let me know in the comment section, where do you guys think Caleb Cunningham will end up signing? Not where he's verbally committed to, not if he'll flip to Ole Miss or back to Alabama or whatever. Where do you think Caleb Cunningham is going to put pen to paper? Type A if you think it's Alabama, or type O if you think it's Ole Miss. Some positive recruiting news here, though. Now, Steve Wiltfong has also logged another prediction for 4-star safety commit to Michigan now to flip to Alabama in, Ivan Taylor is that 4-star safety commit at Michigan right now. And look, we'll see what happens, but Taylor has actually been committed to a couple different schools now. He committed to Notre Dame and then ended up flipping in July to Michigan. So we'll see what happens. He has visited Alabama. He visited back during that Georgia game. He also visited Michigan back during their Michigan versus Michigan State game. But it seems like right now, Ivan Taylor is kind of more leaning towards Alabama, according to Wiltfong. So, all these guys will keep you guys updated. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you have those notifications on, because if they flip, we will have a video and or a short for you guys as well. Before we get out of here, there are some other flip targets that Alabama is going for out there. Donovan Starr, 4-star cornerback. He is an Auburn commit right now. He's taken, I think, a couple visits to Alabama. He's kind of been around that range for Alabama. They've, been in talks with him and everything like that. So we'll see what happens there. Mason Dunn, he's a 4-star cornerback commit as well to Ole Miss. And then you have 3-star running back Jace Clarizio. He right now is committed to Michigan State. He will also be visiting for that Mercer game coming up this weekend. So, like I said, if anything happens, we will keep you guys updated. So make sure you are subscribed.